It's exactly Wednesday, 22nd of October 2025. Good morning. This is KBC, just in time for KBC News Check. And for the next hour or so, we will be looking at the state of governance and politics in the country, being, I believe, the last day that we are eulogizing. Remember the 7 days of mourning. We are eulogizing Minister Raila Odinga. A number of things have happened since he passed on, and being the last day, we really would want to have the last word in regards to the passing of the former premier. So just breaking it down for you, we will be looking at the immediate political vacuum that we have seen has been created and the succession politics therein. We'll also be looking at what has been happening in the country during that time. We do remember that the president did assent to a number of bills that are now acts, and just allow me to just point them out very quickly. They include the National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill of 2024, the Wildlife Conservation and Management Bill of 2023, the Land Amendment Bill of 2022, the National Land Commission Amendment Bill of 2023, the Air Passenger Service Charge Amendment Bill 2025. We also have the National we also had two that have already begun raising some eyebrows, which are the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crime Amendment Bill of 2024 and the Privatization Bill of 2025. These two have generated a lot of heat. The presidential hopeful David Maraga yesterday, the former Chief Justice, did say that indeed some of these acts of law now clawing back on the gains that we've made during devolution, and I'm hoping that all my panelists will be here so that we may be able to delve into that. My name is Njue. I can see Lucy Maura is our sign language interpreter for these live casts, and we would like you to be part of this conversation via all our social media platforms as we are live. Allow me now to rope in one of my panelists who has already gotten to studio. Is Dr. Reverend Elias Otieno Agola, who is the National Chairman, NCC. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Good to see you again.
Yes. Yeah. And maybe to go straight into what we are looking at, but allow me to just remind my viewer is that the 3-day IGAD Ministerial Conference on Labor, Employment and Migration will be today. We're starting today in Machakos County. Then we have day 2 of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exams. The Council of Governors extraordinary meeting at Delta House, Nairobi. That is something we are keeping a very keen eye on in regards especially to the sentiments that have been captured on social media and actually also in other media platforms of the Nyeri Governor, Mutahi Kahiga, with some disparaging remarks in regards to the death of the former Premier Raila Odinga. That we are keeping at least a keen eye on, and as soon as we have that live feed, I have my colleague who has headed there. And also the 2025-26 Devolution, Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Ministry will be having a convention. We will also be looking at that as soon as we have that feed ready. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's delve right in. And Dr. Ari, looking at the last 7 days been quite extraordinary for Kenyans. I mean, Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister, Kenyans have looked up to him for advice, for political mentorship, we have seen handshakes, you know, for just bringing a cohesion in Kenya. And today being, I think, the last day that we are mourning the former Premier, I'd like you to have a word in regards to him. He was a national icon.
Good. Thank you so much, Njue. And thank you, our viewers. It's a wonderful day again that we are here to add our voices to the mourning period that is been in Kenya for the last 7 days. It has not been easy, I know, for many people, especially those who follow Kenya politics. And the moves that are made, the gains that have been there since the multi-party was reintroduced into Kenya. And I would want to take this opportunity again to add my voice to the many voices that have been there, the voices that have been, you know, condoling with the family of the the fallen Prime Minister. It has not been easy for the family. It has not been easy for the ODM. It has not been easy for the entire country, if we are frank enough to say that against the contribution by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga has made us to be where we are, especially with regards to some freedoms and the issues around devolution and the new constitutional dispensation. I know that a lot has been said about the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and all this is very true, that he denied himself a lot of comfort to fight for the country and to fight for the gains that we are enjoying in the country. He's the father of democracy alongside others that have fought for this. There are still others that they have been with in this fight. Gitobu Manyara and the others from all corners of Kenya. And we appreciate the work that they have done. When they started this, I was not very old, and I didn't know that I would be at these positions where we are today. But we want to owe it to them and to say that he has done that which he was supposed to do. And sometimes when people feel convicted and even convinced inside that they are the people to do a particular job, and they step out to begin doing it, others may not know. But when you are gone, that is when other people will look back and say, yes, this person was there and he made this kind of a contribution. The legacy that he left was not just a legacy. It was not also ticking a box, because that is what many people want to do, that they come and it goes into history, that they were there, they did, or they participated in 1, 2, 3. But I think for the former Prime Minister, the late Raila Odinga, it was not just ticking a box. It was not just a move towards leaving a legacy, but it was a move towards identifying the particular gap and moving towards, bridging that gap, helping others to understand that there is a gap somewhere, and drawing people closer to it so that they can also see it and they participate in bridging that gap. And what he has done may not be written in all the books, but in the hearts of the people of Kenya, we will live to remember him. And so for the family, I will still say, Mama Ida and your children, may the Lord comfort you. For ODM party, there is need for you to remain intact and to be together. For the Kenyans, we are more united. We were more united during this time than before, and we could see from all over people streaming in with condolences, tributes, and appreciating the work that has gone on. It is sometimes unfortunate that there are some people who would want to talk loose and bring in seeds of discourse. I think from the beginning we should say that is very unfortunate. And it is not that it is the voice of a particular community. I think it is one person's voice, which can be silenced by asking them to at least tone down.
All right. And we'll be getting actually to a number of things, including he has had like 4 or 5 handshakes since Daniel Moi was president. But we'll be looking at that as well, and the impact and what we to expect, especially now that we had the NADCO report that has not been implemented to date. Now, let's first of all cross over to the KICC, where Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe is currently addressing the Agriculture Summit that has just kicked off today. Let's first of all listen in.
Also for macadamia and avocado, these are new areas that new countries are interested in. The US market is opening up for us. Yes, the general feeling is that there are tariffs being increased in the US, but for us there are new opportunities also within the same market, and I spent some time there last month opening up some of those markets that we can now go into. But one more thing about the export market is the need for us to package and to process our products here. A lot of those countries now are interested in you sending supermarket-ready products. They want you to package it here, sort it out here, and then send it out there as ready for their supermarkets. It's too expensive for them to process, and that's why when we reduced the duty on packaging materials, we immediately had some people from Germany. Petra, you'd be happy to know. People from Germany who came to us and said, we want to start packaging and packing tea here in Kenya for that market. So there are opportunities that are opening up within this sector. The final one I want to talk about before I leave you is the technology aspect and AI in agriculture. We cannot continue doing business as usual in the agricultural sector. We have to move along with the rest of the world, and we must move ahead of the rest of the world. Artificial intelligence is with us, whether we like it or we don't like it. In fact, I'm told, I can't remember which country has now appointed a robot as a minister in the government to deal with the matters of AI. Okay? A robot will be sitting in a cabinet, and perhaps we will produce more ideas, better ideas than we human beings. It's a matter of time before they decide we are useless too. So anyway, what I'm trying to say in short is that let's, as a business community, we have to put our thoughts, our action in the area of technology. Soil testing, for example, used to be something that you took a Kimbo tin in and then you went to Caro, or you look for somebody in a lab to come and do the soil testing. That's no longer going to be the case. A drone is going to do it for us. Crop determination of fungi and whatever the crop diseases exist is going to be determined for us from the satellite, and so on and so forth. So you need, as our partners in the agricultural business, you need also to invest in that area, to come and propose to us easier ways of doing the business of agriculture that we do, and especially for your benefit, because by the end of the day, I recognize the fact that you are business people and you want to create an earning. So when I spoke about putting more money in the farmer's pocket, I also recognize that we need to put more money in your pockets as business people. And that's what drives you, profit. Profit is what drives you. I'm not asking you to be the biblical Samaritan. I am asking you to engage visibly, physically, and otherwise in ensuring that your businesses are profitable. And the way to do it is to refocus in the area of technology. Finally, the average farmer in Kenya is 64 years old. This is not sustainable. It is not sustainable. If I look around this room and I ask people the average age of the people in this room, it will not be 64. It will be a lot younger than that. It will be a lot less than that. And therefore, we need, because of technology, infusion of technology into agriculture, we hope that the youthful members of our society are also interested in using agriculture as a basis for their economic well-being. There are opportunities in agriculture for the youth, particularly in value-adding agricultural products. That's where it is for you. There are opportunities in the growing of certain crops, and all crops can be profitable if grown properly. I can give you one example of a coffee farm that is not too far from here, where once the parents handed over the coffee farm to the next generation, the productivity per tree doubled, literally doubled, because of the new way that the new generation is treating the soils, using proper fertilizers and so on. And it doubled in production, in the production. So I am asking also those of you who are my age, not necessarily in this hall, but also outside the hall, The time has come for you to pass the torch to those who understand technology and those who know how to make better use in terms of productivity per acre, in terms of productivity per tree. Give them the mantle so that they can make better use of the land for their benefit as well as our benefit. Now I realize that culturally, there are those who are very tied to agriculture. You have to move with the time. I'm not asking you to hand over your farm to a stranger. I am simply asking you to hand over to the next generation. They are smarter than you think. They can do a better job of it than you can. They are more determined than you are. They know more than you do. And given all those variables, give them the opportunity. And Kenya will be that much better if you do it. And so my age mates, I count myself within that cycle. It's very difficult for me to hand over my shamba, but I will. In the interest of better productivity and better economic well-being for the younger generation, I will. And therefore, with that very demanding remark, I realize how difficult it is. I therefore want to declare the 5th National Agribusiness Summit officially open. I thank you.
That has been Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe there, officially opening the Agriculture Summit that is going to be in the next couple of days, talking about advancing agri-biz through dialogue and innovation. Something I'm able to pick up is that he's talking about investment in agriculture, and especially when it comes to technology, so as to not only improve yields but also to reduce or bring down the cost of production. We have been having a more loaded report in regards to that a little bit later on, but just in case you joined us, this is KBC News Check. Glad you could join us. And we are looking at the state of politics and governance in the country. And now I'm joined by the second analyst as well. Initially, we had Reverend Dr. Elias Otieno Agola, who we still have here, who is the national chair for the NCCK. And now we are joined by a political analyst, George Yogo. Karibu sana, Bwana George.
Thank you so much.
And just before we crossed over to the Agriculture Summit at KICC, we have been, this is the last day that we are eulogizing Baba, and we just been looking at some of the things that he had been able to accomplish, and just having the final word. And in as much as we did bury him, the country is still mourning, and what he was able to achieve in more than 30 plus years that he was in the political sphere is something that is worth noting.
Yes.
Yeah. Want to have your final word in regards to Baba?
Well, I think you cannot quantify the effect of Raila Odinga insofar as socio-economic and political stability of this country is concerned. So we will be doing injustice if we try to his legacy, if we basically try to quantify his impact in our lives. Because you cannot quantify the value of almost 10 years spent in detention without trial.
Okay, hold the thought, George. Unfortunately, we seem to be having some issues with your microphone, which we'll be looking at. But allow me to just go back to you, Daktari, because I'm looking at the handshake that he was able to. We saw, all of us, we've seen him have handshake with the former President Daniel Moi. We've seen him having handshake with the former President Kibaki. We saw him also as well having a handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and most recently a handshake with President William Ruto. And one thing is that it has been more or less like a divisive and a cohesive, both a positive and a negative. Some people do not like those handshakes. Some people do say that more or less that is killing democracy. But looking at the bigger picture, every time that we've had the handshake, we've had some level of peace. Look at 2007, look at 2017, and also look at after the Gen Z protest. This is one thing that the former premier, I would say, had a knack for, and he was passionate about that. In as much as he had to give up a lot, and especially when it comes to 2007, because he did say, yes, I won this election. I should have been the president. But he accepted the handshake. We had some level of peace and tranquility in the country. And the latest handshake that he had with the President William Ruto in regards to the NADCO, the National Dialogue Committee, they pointed out and said that we have like a 10-point agenda that we need to actualize so that Kenya can remain more cohesive and we have everyone included. Other than seeing the ministerial appointment that we have seen from the political divide, where do you see this handshake going? Do you see whether it will still have the roots that it had now that one of its strong pillars is not around?
Yes, it's important to know that handshakes are part of mediation. I am a trained mediator, I am a certified mediator, I'm an accredited mediator, and I train mediators. Even as we speak, we have a class that we are training. In mediation, there is a realization that people have reached a point where they say, we cannot go on like this. The damage that is going to come will be more than the gains that we are going to have if each one of us is going to go their own way. And therefore, what happened during the 1997 when...
Just apologies, Dr. Just hold that thought. We have been waiting for a Council of Governors extraordinary meeting at Delta House, and I believe now my director, Mogo Kariuki, informs me that they are having a press conference. Let's listen in.
To deliberate on the interpretation and impact of the utterances made by His Excellency Kahiga Mutahi, the Vice Chair of the Council of Governors, and the mitigation thereof. We wish to reiterate our deep disappointment on the statements by the Governor. We still maintain that these sentiments are his personal remarks that do not reflect or represent the views and the values of the Council of Governors. We therefore disassociate ourselves in toto and condemn these utterances, which were untimely, reckless, and unspeakable, especially at this time of deep mourning. In view of this, the Council has unanimously decided, the Council has unanimously agreed to remove His Excellency Kahiga Mutahi from the leadership of the Council as the Vice Chair with immediate effect. We have also agreed that in due course we will hold another meeting where a new Vice Chair will be elected. But as of today, the resolution of this meeting is that the Council has passed a vote of no confidence on His Excellency Kahiga Mutahi and has agreed to remove him as Vice Chair with immediate effect. The Council of Governors extends its deepest apologies to the family of His Excellency the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga CGH on behalf of the 47 county governments of Kenya for the unfortunate remarks by Governor Kahiga. We continue to mourn with the family during this difficult time and reaffirm our solidarity, our respect, and support to them. The Council remains available to offer any assistance that may be required. We further urge all leaders across the political divide to exercise restraint and mindfulness in their public utterances. As leaders, we must always be guided by the national values and principles of good governance enshrined in our Constitution of Kenya. May the soul of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, CGH, continue resting in eternal peace. Asanteni sana. I thank you. Thank you very much.
No. The chair is finished.
That's it. Thank you.
Those are live pictures from Delta House, which is the HQ, the headquarters of the Council of Governors there, and addressing Kenyans, and the press is the council's chair, that is Abdullahi Ahmed, and he, being the chair, has said that as a council, in regards to the reckless remarks made by the Nyeri County Governor Mutahi Kahiga, mentioned that they have already struck him off as the deputy chair of the Council of Governors. They are disappointed by the statements by Kahiga, and they say those do not represent or in any way attached to the Council of Governors. Those were his own reckless and unspeakable comments. He has also mentioned that a new vice chairperson will be appointed, and offers a sincere apology to the family and Kenyans in regards to that. He has distanced himself as the Council of Governors in regards to those statements. That will definitely be something to look out for. Of course, a breaking news that the Deputy Council of Governor chairperson, who happens to be the Nyeri governor, has been whipped off his seat, and they will be appointing another one in due course. Of course, we will be keeping tabs with what the COG has really said in regards to that. And allow me to now rope in my panel of experts who are here as that statement was made. And Bishop, we were speaking with you before we had to cross over to Delta House.
Sure.
And in regards to what the council, the deputy council, who has just been relieved of his duties, the governor of Nyeri, and they have totally distanced themselves in regards to those statements. And I believe this is the first really nasty, unspeakable statements that we've had since Baba died. We've had glowing tribute. Yes, he was a man of his own hits and misses, but we haven't had any leader whatsoever, because he was not only a national leader. We've seen even sentiments from even the UN, sentiments from former presidents and even sitting presidents. But we haven't seen such a reckless statement made.
Yeah, those statements, as I said before, were very unfortunate, because they were reckless, as even the governors themselves have alluded to. They were also very insensitive, because this is not the time when such statements ought to have been said. Of course, they were said, very unfortunate, and I would only say that we are leaders in this country, and when we have lost one of us, we need to restrain ourselves from allowing power to climb on top of our heads and make statements that are not censored by ourselves. So when a leader makes such statements, whether you make them in mother tongue or you make them in a language that everybody understands, we are living at a time when you should not believe that the person seated next to you, because of their name, cannot understand what you are saying. And even if they don't understand, as you heard Mutai say, AI is here to stay, and people have to adjust to it. You just need to subject it to AI, and it will be, it will be interpreted in the language that you can understand it.
And of course, we're also expecting him, he will be making a statement. He's a public figure.
I know, he will be making statement. And if maybe he's hearing what we are saying, or viewing us, or his people are viewing, he should be advised not to just make another wrong statement. He should restrain himself from making amplifying statements that can create more chaos or put him in more hot soup than the others. Silence will be better for him. And if he has to make any statement, I think he should just continue in the spirit of apology, and that will help him and redeem it for that, redeem him for that matter.
Yeah.
But I would say that it is unfortunate, and I would plead with all Kenyans to just understand that that was an individual's message. It was his opinion. It should not be interpreted to mean that it is the opinion of the Kikuyu community. I'm not sure that will be right, because whoever would want to see the Kikuyus in that statement would be going rather too far. They would, I expect people now to see that it is Governor Mutahi, Kahiga, sorry, and if anybody has to make a statement, just like the governors have done, make it towards that person and not towards the community. We need a united Kenya. We need people to respect each other, regardless of where they come from, and we need to understand that Kenya is enough for all of us, and we should not use any balkanization to appear, to sound as if we are divided. I don't think we have reached where we are divided. We know when we have been divided, but not now.
Yeah, and Yogo, it just you have watched the Council of Governor Chairperson Abdullahi there talking about really distancing themselves totally with the sentiments of that. And somebody even said that be careful with what you say, because it can only be forgiven but not forgotten. And just like picking up from where Daktari has left and talking about, indeed, yes, he should totally apologize for that, and that should not be used to interpret maybe what the Mount Kenya region or the communities there are talking about. They haven't said anything like that, but he himself has said, and he has not said on behalf of the community. And we were just, the last question I was asking Bishop before that presser was in regards to the handshake, because these handshakes have brought some level of peace and tranquility in Kenya. But looking at the sentiments made by an elected leader of that caliber are not only reckless, but unbecoming.
Well, number one, I couldn't expect any worse from Kahiga or any better. Any keen follower, an observant Kenyan, must have noted that Kahiga is always very reckless in his remarks. This is not the first. If you watch his comments across the political divide, all through the political campaigns, and when there is political antagonism, Kahiga's statements are always bordering alarmist kind of statements, divisive kind of politics. And I think most probably it's because of also the way he came into power. So I am not surprised by what Kahiga said. That is who he is. And I think Chair here agrees with me, because both of us are believers in the Bible. He said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what he spoke is what is deeply rooted in his heart. But I also agree with the Chair that it is not about the Kikuyu as a community, because I know the Kikuyus who have sold their lives to Raila Odinga, absolutely committed, totally devoted to Raila Odinga, stood by him, supported his campaigns all throughout. And don't forget, Raila is also an in-law in Kikuyu land. And two of his sons actually happen to have married from Kikuyu land. So the truth is, it's not a Kikuyu thing, but we have very myopic thinkers within the Kikuyu community who hold political positions and always try to, their comments border on attacks that could degenerate into very serious political anarchy. And that is not required at this particular point of time. Now, with regards to the handshake, I think if you follow keenly, it was not William Ruto, Raila Odinga handshake. It was the UDA-ODM arrangement in which both parties were engaged. And if you realize, during the signing of the agreement, the various political leaders, that is from both sides, ODM and UDA, were put together. I don't know about the structures of UDA, but I'm very aware of very elaborate structures within ODM. the structures that are approved of this agreement. And therefore, I don't think that the death of Raila Odinga has in any way negatively affected the agreement that the two parties had together. With or without the two leaders, the party organs had an agreement, struck an agreement, put it to pen and paper, and therefore began to implement by the 10 points agenda that was agreed upon. So, well, the king has departed, but the throne or the crown stays, and there are guards of that crown.
So do you believe that we will indeed implement the 10-point agenda, the NADCO? Now that he's not around.
Like one thing I mentioned, NADCO report was not an agreement between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. I think Parliament set in place a process that led to the NADCO report, and a committee was formed. This committee put together different players. So the resolutions that were passed as the NADCO report was not Raila Odinga, William Ruto resolutions. It was the resolutions of the committee that was put together, and a process that went through Parliament. So it was a parliamentary process that is being executed.
And the reason I'm asking is because it was supposed to start they were supposed to start the implementation just after. We're doing almost a year since the two principals shook hands.
That's very true. Then the implementation of the NADCO report should have started almost immediately based on the timelines provided for within the report itself. But we must understand that then there was no political goodwill. In as much as the report was put together, there was no political goodwill. It is until the two principals were able to man their troops, put them together and have a common position, that now the implementation process began. And I think you can remember it began there was the signing of the bill in KICC, the reconstitution of IEBC. The process is being followed. The appointment of a commission, a team that is to help in could I refer to it as restitution or repayment of those who were injured during the protest. I mean, so you see there is implementation, but this implementation started to happen after there was a political buy-in and there was a goodwill to that effect. Before that particular period of time, well, there was push and shove. These two teams were trying to come together, but there was no political goodwill. If you can see right now, give it to William Samoei Ruto, he has proven that he's committed to the process based on what he's doing. And ODM is still my party. And therefore, I also know the commitment of the party towards the implementation of the NADCO report and the pursuant of the very spirit that brought ODM and UDA together. And that is the unity of Kenya as a country. Yes.
And I'm looking at, Dr. I'm looking at the opposition. With all fairness, Baba has been, and for the longest time, been the true north of opposition, if you ask me. And now that he is not around, how effective will be the opposition? We have seen him hold various governments to account in regards to how they govern Kenya. And now that there is a big vacuum, now that he's not around, who will be holding government to account?
Yeah, thank you. Allow me to go back to the handshakes. Handshakes normally come when people realize that there is an issue to be tackled, and the issue has moved from where it was a crisis to where we realize there is a problem to be solved. And so in resolving this problem, people end up in handshake, and they say we would want to continue, and the result of a handshake should be the progress that is supposed to be there. In many of these handshakes that you have mentioned, since the time of Moi, the time of Kibaki, there were two handshakes. One you don't mention, and Kenyans may not know it, but it happened. The one between President Kibaki and Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yes.
That was a handshake.
And he was made the vice president.
And he was made the vice president. And it also saved Kenya to some extent, because you could imagine if he joined the Raila team where Ruto was. So something would have happened which would be very ugly for the country. But when he joined the Kibaki and they shook hands, at least there was now some force coming from that side. And then we now got Raila come in with a handshake, and then during Uhuru's time, and then now during Ruto's time. These handshakes are there to at least solve some kind of a problem that is there. But normally when you have an handshake, you are expected to progress, but you cannot progress in a handshake. You should leave the hands and now go to hand holding. That's when you can now move. And in this one, we saw a little of that after there was a handshake, then there is a hand holding where these people would move together. Unfortunately, Raila has passed on. I'm not a member of ODM, so let nobody think that ODM is brought here to discuss these issues. I'm not a member, I'm a clergy. What do we expect? One, as a people of religion, for me, I expect that God is going to raise another person. It may not be from ODM. It may be from another party. But a Kenyan who will stand tall and lead the opposition. Because Kenya requires the presidency, that is the government. It also requires, on the other side, the opposition, a stronger one. But then Kenya also requires other actors, like now the church, where we will always continue to pray for the country and to ensure that the country is united and reconciled, so that we do not have divisions. And that is where we stand. So, are we seeing another stronger person coming? Yes. God will always raise somebody. When Moses was dead, you know, God himself spoke to who? To Joshua.
To Joshua. But
So God,
actually, I'm looking at Moses and Joshua, but you know that everywhere Moses went, Joshua was shadowing him. Unfortunately, when we look at the Kenyan politics, we remember when the President Uhuru left, he really didn't have anybody who was shadowing him, at least to take that mantle from him. And we have seen the legacy of Baba stretching for over 30 years in social and the political sphere. But we haven't seen somebody who is very close to him.
You may not have seen, just like me, but that does not mean there have not been people. Many of these politicians we have around, they have been students of Baba, and they have always mentioned it. When Moi left power, did he leave Ruto as his successor?
No.
When Uhuru left power, did he leave, even when Kenyatta Senior left power, did he leave Moi? We are not going to be pessimistic about this. I think we need to be hopeful. What we need is good governance, and what we need is good institutions of governance that are accountable to the people, and with leaders that are here and, you know, listen to what people say. But with regards to opposition, I'm still hopeful that it is too early to think about this, because again, we just buried Baba on Sunday. Let 1 week end, and let's hear what is going to unfold. But let's be ready that God is going to raise for us somebody who in the political field will fill in the gap that is there for opposition.
Maybe, Yogo, you can also dig into that as well in regards to who now may hold or will hold the mantle. And still on the same, the legacy of Baba is quite very rich, and many people remember him for the 2010 constitution, talk about father of democracy, and indeed he was. A few may not remember that he was very instrumental in the repealing of Section 2A of the constitution back in the 90s, that allowed for multi-party democracy and multi-partyism in the country, which has led us to being a very robust democracy, if you ask me. Now that he has left, I remember if there's something that he held so close to his heart is democracy and constitution. And how can we as Kenyans as well ensure that these democratic gains are not eroded? Case in point, yesterday the former Chief Justice David Kenani Maraga talked about we are clawing back on the gains that we have made as a country in regards to the laws and the acts that the president signed last week.
Well, number one, I don't agree with Maraga because I'm yet to see one that we're clawing back on. Maybe allow me to start from there. You see, people need to understand that we have the mainframe law of the land, which is the Constitution. The Bill of Rights is a complete chapter in the Constitution, and it defines the alienable and irrevocable rights of individuals. So there is no other law that can be put in place that would contradict the Constitution. The Constitution is very clear that any law, to the extent to which it contradicts the Constitution or is inconsistent with the Constitution, is an nullity. So you see, we must be guided by the Constitution first and foremost. So if you talk about, for example, the freedom of speech, honestly, if you look at the act so critically, forgetting about all these social media clamor, whatever, and look at that thing critically, it is very particular on new age media. Very, very particular on new age media. So unless it is somebody who wants to perpetuate the kind of negativity, the battering, the attacks that we've had on social media, then you could have a problem with the law. But we must understand that as people, we are guided by the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. And the Constitution itself pronounces itself on inconsistencies of any other attendant laws. So if what is passed is inconsistent, we must understand the role of Parliament is to pass laws, is to legislate. And I wonder when people blame William Samoei Ruto for signing the laws into an act, the question is, who did the laws? It's the Parliament. And the Parliament took them through public participation. It is the nature of Kenyans to always come last minute to try and fight and assume their own civic responsibility. The moment we are told, can we contribute towards this, we see them as very minute, insignificant things. But when the effect is talked about, then now we all run. Kenyans have this tendency to perpetuate knee-jerk reactions. I think we ought to have, from the onset, participated during the public participations, put Parliament to account. President Ruto was given the laws by Parliament. Parliament represents us, the people. We should have put our own people to task. And so we can still put our own people to task. Now that takes me to the question you talked about opposition. And again, I will take you back to the Constitution. Why are we looking for opposition? Because where is opposition in our Constitution? If you look at the new Constitution, it's no longer new, the 2010 Constitution that brought what we call a hybrid of both presidential system and the parliamentary system. Before the 2010 Constitution was enacted, we had the leader of opposition. We no longer have the leader of opposition. We have the minority and majority in Parliament. So we no longer have the role and the place of opposition. Now, constitutionally, the responsibility of putting the government in check is vested on Parliament. What we need to be talking about is a robust parliamentary system that is able to check on the executive, because that is their mandate. That is their responsibility. But for as long as we still elect into offices individuals that gives us freebies, and people who sing the songs of senior politicians and run after them like Kahiga Mutahi, then we are likely to find ourselves in a position that the Parliament, instead of putting the executive to check, would be dancing to the tune of the music by the executive. So we need to understand and educate Kenyans that we don't need an opposition leader in the name of Raila Odinga. He wasn't one. He was the leader of ODM party. And ODM party was not an opposition party. It was a minority party in Parliament by constitution. We need a party in Parliament, or we need a parliamentary system. And we must understand whether you are the majority party or the minority party. we have a duty and a responsibility as Parliament to check on the legislature. Just like it is the responsibility of the Senate to help us ensure that devolution is not eroded, so is the responsibility of Parliament. And now I also want to say the last remarks of the Right Honourable Raila Odinga, CGH, in the last, that's around almost 23, 24 days, parliamentary group meeting that happened in Agile Hotel along Mombasa Road. If your team has the clip, you can see what he told the people. He gave instructions to the members of Parliament, and he told them that, listen, it is your responsibility and duty to put the government in check. I remember because I was in that meeting, and he said the fact that we are in the broad-based government does not mean we sit on the heels of the government. We must be in a position to point out the errors of the government, the shortcomings, the failures of the government, and put the executive to account. So Raila Odinga did not just leave, but he left instructions for his party on what they're supposed to be doing. So for me, what we need to be talking about is not the rise of another political leader that would appear to be antagonizing the government. We need the maturity of our legislative arm of government. The arm of government that would take their responsibility and role into account and stand up for what they ought to be doing. Yes.
Bishop, picking up from where Yogo has left, you're talking about opposition, and Baba had been a very cohesive figure when it comes to opposition. He was able to bring in a lot of people and unite and try to form government. And looking at what we have witnessed in the last couple of days since he left, we have already started seeing cracks, especially in the opposition and especially some of the factions. As the clergy, I remember each and every election cycle, you come out strongly to urge Kenyans to be united despite their various opinions or even their various political stands. Now that we have seen that now the exit of Mr. Odinga, can we have still the unity that we have seen maintained in opposition, mostly, especially when it comes to the 2027 election? Yeah,
I hear you still using the word opposition, which I also want to use. Although
the reason actually I'm using opposition is because in as much as we do not have the minority, remember in the NADCO report, there we were supposed to put an office of the leader of opposition.
Which has not been put in
place. Which has not been put in place yet.
Yes. But, because for you to have the leader of opposition, for us to have the leader of opposition in parliament, there has to be some legislative transformations, minimum changes to be done, that would now remove the position of the minority leader and then give us what? The leader of opposition.
Yogo, we know that.
But we are supposed, if we follow the NADCO report, we are supposed to come up with the office of the Prime Minister and also come up with an office of the leader of opposition.
It calls for an amendment of the Constitution.
Yes.
Which has not been done.
Which has not been done yet.
All of us know that. All of us know it has not been done. So allow me to say what I wanted to say. That although our 2010 Constitution does not have the position of opposition, it has the minority and the majority in the House, which we know. But as much as we know that, we also know that there was a handshake, which I believe Yogo and any other Kenyan should not dispute. There was an handshake. We also know that there is a broad-based government.
Yes.
We also know that. And we know that now the minority and the majority are in that government. We know that, isn't it?
Yeah, but also we need to remember that is nowhere in the Constitution.
Because we know that, nowhere in the Constitution. So whoever is supposed to check me is whoever we are in on the same table. So again, that does not leave power for any vacuum. And that's why you hear the word opposition will still remain with us until we amend that Constitution, if NADCO resolutions will be taken into consideration, or if Kenyans will decide to do that. However, do we need somebody to check the government? Yes, we need somebody to check the government. Is it going to be the parliament? The answer is it is not going to be the parliament, because Parliament has been compromised by the executive, and that is the reality. So Parliament now dances to the tune of the executive to help the executive implement some of the even some are wrong things. And so we would want to say that we still require a voice that will be checking the government. From the church, we will raise these issues. But again, we also need some political goodwill. We need some political actors that will also take them to the institutions that are going to let them become law and let them also become policies that can rule the country. And therefore, much as we have the constitution that talks of the minority and the majority, we still need to have some formal or informal way of looking at our issues and raising them to the eyes of the people that are supposed to see them, to the ears of the people that are supposed to hear them, to the hands of the people that are supposed to implement them. And that is where we as the church or the religious actors, we are there. We are not making any noise, but we are making our statements very cool and in a way that we know can help the country. With regards to the NADCO, is it going to be implemented? I think, again, we still require a lot of goodwill and a lot of civic education on the same. Because you cannot implement something that you've not, engaged the people past the resolution. You may have engaged them before the resolution, but that engagement was taken through another analysis, which now created the resolution. And what may be in the resolution may not be verbatim what was there during the public participation. So this new outfit that was agreed upon should also be shared with Kenyans so that Kenyans know the nitty-gritties, the details of this document, so that we don't just hear it is a 10-point agenda and this 10-point resolution, what is it? How have we taken the burden of taking it down to the people so that the people understand what it is? So we have room for civic education. The laws that were signed the other day, I would want to feel with all of us Kenyans, because it happened at a time when we were mourning. But without supporting how it was done, I would just ask one question. Do you think the president just woke up and went to a table and say, bring those laws, I want to sign them? He did not do that. It was something that was pre-arranged. It was supposed to be done. But now, unfortunately, Baba died that same day. And some businesses had to continue anyway.
But
so where we have a wrong law, yes, that can be contested, that can also be discussed. But again, some people are now coming to politics. They were in the public service. So as they mention some of these things, it may be interpreted as though they are meddling so much, but the truth of the matter is that they are coming to politics, and they can make political statements. But where we need to correct some wrongs, I think we have an opportunity to do that. And my only request to the president is that continue listening to the people. You may have signed something, but if the people are still raising it, please have some, some cohorts of discussions with these people and know how best that can serve the country.
Okay. Yogo, also, as we wrap up, I would like
let me just pick up on that.
Yes, actually, the signing of the...
Let me pick up on that.
Yeah, on the bill.
I want to refer you to the finance bill the president never signed. There was a total disagreement on the bill, and the people followed it through the legislative process. The presidential assent is only a culmination of a legislative process. And if you saw, it was Mr. Njue, the clerk of the National Assembly, who was actually presenting the bills. So it's basically a culmination of a legislative process. Now, if you saw, the moment that process was culminated with regards to the 2024-2025 finance bill, there was a public uproar and outrage. And therefore, the president could not sign it into an act. Now, the question is this: what is different now? Why didn't we follow through the process? Did we just all of a sudden realize that the president has signed these things? We only noticed at the tail end. From the introduction of these bills in Parliament, I mean, it was not a one-day thing. It was not introduced in Parliament that day, passed that day, and signed that day. Then we should have raised an alarm. We as Kenyans must take responsibility for our inertia and our nonchalance with regards to public or civic responsibility. Like I mentioned before, it is you and I who needs to be the first watchdogs of the ruling elites.
All right.
You and I, the first watchdogs. Now, you mentioned other things. You talked about the public engagement. I want to correct Chair here. That there's a legal procedure and provision with regards to passing on certain legislation and where public participation needs to come in. The truth is this: we are not hearing of the 10-point agenda. These were thoroughly canvassed, and there were several agendas that were put on the table until finally there was an agreement on the 10-point agenda. If you followed the process, you remember when there was a stalemate between the different committees. That stalemate stopped a lot of things until there was an agreement. And finally, I want to address two things. One, there are no cracks.
So what have you corrected?
What I was correcting is you're saying we should not just hear of the 10 points agenda. We need to have a public participation and involve the people.
No, that's not what I said. Can I say
I wish we could replay the...
Yeah, let me say what I said.
Let him have a right to reply as we wind up.
Okay, he can reply me, then I finish on my point. But I made, actually, when he spoke, I wrote, this was his word, we should not hear of the 10 points agenda. That is what I picked from him, and you can replay the video after this.
Okay. And because of the interest of time, we really
just two things I really needed to say. One, there are no cracks in the opposition or in Parliament. I know people have talked about cracks because of the various expressions during the funeral from the death of Raila Odinga. But we understand that people interpret speeches from different points and different perspectives. There is a time for the government. There's a time for the party to sit and make decisions through the organ.
All right. I want you to just have the right to reply as we wrap up because we have run.
Okay. What I said is anything, whether it has become law or before it has become law, whether it is a document that has been agreed upon or not, it should be subjected to people for civic education. That's what I said. So that people also are carried along and they are able to be part of it. I would end by saying, as NCCK, we are not supporting any candidate at all, and we are not against anybody. What we want is a united Kenya, and we call on all of us to remain united as a country.
All right. Thank you. That has been the National Council of Churches, Council of Churches of Kenya chairperson. That is Reverend Dr. Elias Otieno Agola. Just next to him, you have George Yogo, political analyst. I can tell you that I'll promise I'll give you another opportunity. But unfortunately,
we really need to have a discussion on church because church has been the greatest problem to good governance in this country.
All right. I am quite sure Bishop has noted that. Reverend has noted that. But for now, let's first of all take a quick break. When we come back, we'll also be having a few minutes just to wrap up in regards to the late Baba, and also we'll crossing over to Bondo. I hear there's a delegation there just to know exactly what is happening there. And coming up next, we will be having Honorable Senator Gertrude Musuruve, who is a lecturer at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. We have Grace Njeri Karuno, who is a children and youth mentor. We'll be back. Let's see how we'll parent and mentor these kids, especially when we have a very long holiday. We'll be back in a moment.
Haukumbuki jambo lolote lile.
Sasa tutatoa wapi huyu mtu shwali? Wetu ndio ulikuwa hope yetu.
Hope nini tena?
Kila kitu kilifanyika mbio sana.
Umenisaidia sana kwa swala hili. Hebu ngoja kwanza hapo umebeba nini?
Ni Tumaini nimekuletea tu exchange na Kamnyeso.
Hebu mimi sitaki tabia. Nilikwambia tabia hii ukome lakini
Ona nitagundu wakita
One of the things we know is that two things fade in life, and that is energy, and the second one is time.
So I think what we should be looking at beyond time management is asking ourselves, are we clear and managing the focus?
The fact that it is your free time, still you don't waste it.
Yes. Don't prioritize your schedule. Yeah? Schedule your priorities.
One of the things we know is that two things fade in life, and that is energy, and the second one is time.
So I think what we should be looking at beyond time management is asking ourselves, are we clear and managing the focus?
The fact that it is your free time, still you don't waste it.
Yes. Don't prioritize your schedule. Yeah? Schedule your priorities.
He's just coming to have a tour at the place since he has tons of friends who have money and would like to spend a weekend or two.
Are you still here?
We need to talk, sir.
But you are no longer working for me.
Ruth is still here because I did what you asked.
Feel love.
You feel what?
Mapenzi.
Oh, so now you're consulting Kisaka on matters concerning our family. Don't shush me. Yo tabia yako ya kiushamba utaacha. Get out of my way.
Watu wanaenda kanisani. Wewe unaenda kulewa, unarudi ukianguka kwa barabara.
Badala unipigie makofi, unanipigia kelele.
Tukavurugana juu ya madeni ya Elijah. Bado unamkubalia akunywe. We, makubwa.
Nilijipata huko aje?
haukumbuki jambo lolote lile.
Sasa tutatoa wapi huyu mtu shwali? Wetu ndio ulikuwa hope yetu.
Hope nini tena?
Kila kitu kilifanyika mbio sana.
Umenisaidia sana kwa swala hili. Hebu ngoja kwanza hapo umebeba nini?
Ni Tumaini nimekuletea tu exchange na Kamnyeso.
Hebu mimi sitaki tabia. Nilikwambia tabia hii ukome lakini
Ona nitagundu wakita.
My name is Kayla Salif Odhiambo. I'm 8 years old. I wanted to achieve my dreams because I wanted to be a fashionist.
In our story, the wind has a name. The wind is called Umoyana. And the book is Umoyana, the Little Wind.
She sells shiny shelf swiftly.
She sells shiny shelf swiftly.
I'll be preparing for you potato wedges.
Close your eyes and let your imaginations fly away.
Chapa unakuwa humiliated mbele ya watu, lakini unapata uwezi shtaki, sababu ukishtaki utafungiwa barabara ya kwenda bunge.
Kanda ya mwisho na nini? Na kufi. Na katika ulimwengu ya kiroho, unajua litwangwa hiyo kofi ni Mikaeli. Sasa mimi nauliza wewe. Bila nabii ungekuwa wapi?
Mimi angekuwa Bachola.
Unajua utapata shida.
Wewe ndio malaika ama sijakuelewa bado?
No. I'm his prophet.
Huyu yeye ni nani anawababaisha hivyo?
Bila anakusomeanga maisha yako vile iko.
Na wewe unaamini?
Makwa. Ni kweli sasa. Ulikuwa umejua list ya millionaires ulikuwa umeingia.
Lehamba papa.
One of the millionaires.
Millionaire?
Si ndio?
Akinirutisha tu kwa hiyo namba. Tafadhali nirutishe.
A world record holder in Paralympics, an icon and a mentor.
I'm happy I struggled so that many other people people with disability can be able to benefit. We are not yet there, lakini what I can say, we are somewhere. Things are changing. They cannot happen overnight, but I thank God things are happening. We are on the right direction.
Sylvia's world changed in a single moment when she finally came to know the diagnosis.
Embrace disability, mtupende, pende watoto wetu, juu cerebral palsy si contagious, haikushiki, haishikanishani.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tunaangazia kilimo kutumia mbinu za asili. Kisha jinsi ya kuwafuga ng'ombe, kondoo pamoja na kuku.
Hawa wanyama wako na challenges mingi pia. Kukua na wao inabidi ujipange. Kwanza majani, unafaa kuwa na majani ya kutosha, wanakula vizuri. Una make sure ni huko mahali wanalala ni kusafi. Alafu pia dawa ya minyoo unaipea. Kwa wakati after 1 month unaipea dawa.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
Ng'ombe hatabishika Mungu. Na ilivyo kawaida ng'ombe akibishikia mguu malishoni, sharti arudi zizini na matibabu.
Kazi yako ni nini hapa? It's not your father's office and not even past.
Wewe utanipa heshima zangu. Utaniheshimu na uniite baba.
He doesn't love you. Just playing around with you. Kama hanipendi, kwa nini unaendelea kuchunguza maisha yake ukijapo ofisini mwake kila wakati? Kimbana wewe mwanamke ndio huko. Utachunga wewe.
The Twatwa couple. The Morenes are here with us. Hey!
My name is Reverend Joseph Monene, seated with my sweetheart here, Sue Monene.
Monene was my Sunday school teacher.
This one is getting
right from when I was young, I started admiring him.
There's something that began immediately in me.
Oh, wow.
In fact, Pastor Monene was my first man. All through, me, I was a no-go zone.
You went direct.
I still remember it
I was told to pay by the parents.
1.5 million.
1.5 million.
If I don't get married to Monene, Dad, I will never get married. I had a link. There's a very rich tycoon. Who my dad had talked to, and I was supposed to become the 5th wife. They found a very big cyst. It was so huge, it twisted with my right fallopian tube.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya. Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues
shaping our country. Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about the viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good morning, Kenya. Every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Welcome back to KBC News Check. On the second hour, after doing matters, politics and governance, we'll be looking at holiday parenting and mentorship. Yes, for many students, the school calendar year always has high pressure and is academically focused. But now they will be with us at home for not less than 2 months. And we'll be looking at that. And indeed, Baba was also a mentor, so we'll be looking at some of the things that we should be looking at. We are now crossing over to Bondo, Kangoka, Jaramogi, and as you can see, there are leaders who have gathered there just to have a word with the Odinga family. Let's first of all listen in.
In Nairobi, this time, Mama, we were there, but you saw the day Mzee died, the chaos which was there. We could not see you, so we said we are coming to see you today. Mungu ni mwema, God will give you the strength. And I will ask my colleagues if they want to say something, just one word. Okay, we will go home to talk. Lakini I just want to say thank you very much for supporting her. We really still cannot believe. Like me, I think I'm in a dream that Baba is down here. That is why Lu was saying, Lo wangete. Yani love niyo mwenye raila kwa neno kama. But we pray that God keeps his soul in eternal peace. Thank you very much, Mom, and we are very sorry. Blessings of the Lord from heaven come down. May the blessings of the Lord come down.
On behalf of Ogande Girls High School, Menpeng was a student at Ogande. Lea Moma was her classmate and deskmate. So we were here, some of us were here yesterday, and today again we are here to come and express our pole to Menpeng, Mama Aida Odinga. Mama, on behalf of the girls of Ogande, we are saying pole to what has happened. His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, we used to refer to him as our in-law because he was an in-law of many, many girls. We know what you have gone through, but we trust that God will take care of you. May God continue to protect you. May God continue to protect your family. May God continue to protect the many orphans that Baba has left. We wish you well. Just look up unto God. It's not an easy road, but we know our God is faithful and our God will never leave you alone. God bless you.
Those are live pictures from Kangoka, Jaramogi, the home of the late Baba Raila Amolo Odinga there. We have seen Mama Ida together with a number of leaders. I've noted the likes of James Orengo and Governor Lusaka there, just having a moment of prayer, reflection in regards to the demise of Baba. Remember, today being the last day that as a country we are mourning him, but of course we will always remain in our hearts, and whatever he told us, indeed, will always be etched in our memory. And talking about what he taught us, we are looking at holiday parenting and mentorship, and allowed me to rope in my panel of guests. As I had mentioned earlier, we have Honorable Senator Gertrude Musuruve, who is also a lecturer at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Karibu sana, good to see you.
Thank you, Ben.
Just next to her, we have Grace Njeri Karuno, who is a children and youth mentor. And looking at mentorship, and we have seen all those people, they feel they owe something to Baba. And with all due respect, you owe a lot to Baba. And it would have been fair as a senator who was elected on an who was appointed on an ODM ticket. Would it be fair if I don't give you that opportunity?
Thank you very much, Ben, even for giving me the opportunity. First of all, I want to pass my condolences to my very good friend, Mama Ida, and her family, for the passing on of Baba, and to also all Kenyans who look at the bigger picture of Kenya. I pass my condolences, and condolences of my family as well. And I want to say, Ben, even as I pass my condolences, I want to really come out strongly to say that Baba Raila Amolo Odinga had a duty, a God-given political duty on planet Earth, which he did faithfully in terms of fighting for democracy, in terms of fighting for the weak. And even when he went to prison, that did not stop him from fighting for democracy, because he had already known his God-given duty. And so, Ben, I want to take this platform also to really urge Kenyans to empathize with the family, and also the followers of Baba, and also the greater Kenya, to empathize and stop speaking ill of the dead and allow Baba to rest in peace. And I want to say, Ben, I'm coming out strongly to say that the statement by Governor, Njeri is very unfortunate at a time like this when people are mourning Baba. You can see my eyes are red. I've been mourning, and I'm not really myself, and I'm not the only one. You saw Kenyans all over carrying, leaves, even on in the vehicle. They had, even border borders had leaves and all that. All Kenyans are mourning Baba because they know the role that Baba played in this country. So it is unfortunate that some people can speak, ill of him when he's gone. So Governor Njeri, could you kindly allow Baba to rest in peace? Baba did his job, everybody saw, and we are celebrating him. So I'm just asking him to also do his political job quietly, so that when he's gone, he's celebrated. That is what should be, because also political leaders have a God-given role on earth, which is very different from any other role. So let us allow political leaders to do what they've been allowed to do by God, and especially when they're fighting for the good of the entire country. And Ben, you can remember very well that even when it came to devolution, Baba was at the forefront, even asking for more money to go, into devolution, simply because he was looking at the common man, that if development can go to the 47 counties, he was happy with that. And you also saw, Ben, that during his life on earth, even when elections did not go well, Baba chose peace. He was selfless. He looked at the bigger picture of Kenya and chose peace. And that is why he was going for handshake. He went for handshake with former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. It was very intentional because he was looking at the bigger picture of Kenya. And that is why he also went, handshake with the current president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. They looked at the bigger picture. And even before his death, he looked at the bigger picture of Kenyans. He looked at the bigger picture of the opposition and decided that he would have a handshake so that they're also in government, because he did not want to leave problems to his followers. He wanted them to be in safe hands because he was looking at the bigger picture. So I want to say that let us celebrate Baba at this time, and let us mourn with the family, let us mourn with his followers, and let us empathize with them. And I want to say, Ben, I really thank the president, and wherever he is, may God bless him. The president came out strongly to really support Baba, even when he was gone. That the president decided Baba was going to have a state funeral. And it was indeed a state funeral. It was not a joke. And all Kenyans went to view. I remember I went to Parliament when we were supposed to view him in Parliament. I went to Parliament to view him, but Kenyans could not. It was overwhelming, even for Parliament. And that is why he was second to Kasarani, because everybody wanted to see him. Why? Because of the contributions he has done. So I want to say that let us appreciate him, let us appreciate the family, let us also appreciate the president, what he's doing, because he has said that he wants the legacy of Baba to go on. And he'll make sure that what the agreement that he had done with Baba, the 10-point agenda, he's going to fulfill. And that is why, Ben, I want to say that even those leaders who are supporting Baba, let us also give the president a chance and see how is he going to stand with his word, you know?
All right. And I'll be, because we are talking about mentorship, and Baba has indeed mentored a lot of people, you included, and now you're a lecturer passing that knowledge to students that you are with at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. You'll be telling us more on what you were able to get there, and you are instilling into these children as they go for their holidays. Karibu sana, Grace. Apologies, Mheshimiwa is still a politician, and despite the fact that she's also a lecturer. But I'm looking at the pressure that we have on our kids, especially when it comes to academic. They're so focused, there's high pressure, waking up early. Now that we have a holiday, we have seen some organizations have mentorship for young girls and also boys. Maybe some are circumcised that time, and there's a lot of mentorship. I'm looking at how we can how we'll develop a whole child, and by a whole child I mean emotional intelligence, creativity, and also life skills.
Yes. Yeah, so thank you so much for this opportunity. Yes, our children are coming home for the holidays, and as you earlier said, they are going to be with us for about 2 months and more for some. And it's very important for parents at this time to be able to know how they can plan, how they can prepare for these children as they come home, you know, to make sure that this holiday season is not like just any other holiday, but by the time these kids are going back to school, these kids are equipped, these kids are well taken care of, as you said, socially, mentally, psychologically, and even creativity. Because we've seen that our children, especially those in boarding schools, they are going through so much, you know. Some of them have been involved in banning of schools because there's something our children are trying to tell us. You know, there's a message they are trying to pass. And right now, our children, among our children, the suicide rates are very high. So this holiday season, maybe it is a time for parents to come together as both parents and to be able to know how can they take care of their kids psychologically, mentally, you know, be able to listen to their challenges, listen to their struggles, and also help them navigate their weaknesses. So yeah, this time parents, guardians, and the society at large, because we all have a role to play in the lives of our children, and we need to learn how we are going to equip ourselves first as parents and guardians, and then we can be able to take care of these children mentally, so that by the time they are going back to school, we can say that we are sending healthy children back to school. Yes.
And Moshe, I'm looking at mentorship, and we have seen a number of platforms in regards to mentorship. I'll tell you this, when I was joining college, some of the vices that I witnessed in college, I had not seen them when I was in primary school or even secondary school. So when it comes to tertiary education, it's a very critical point for mentorship, especially for young girls. And you have been on the forefront in regards to that. And more specific, you've moved even an inch higher when you've talked about matters or issues that affect persons with disabilities. Baba did mention you a lot. Some of the photos that I have seen, I don't know whether we can be able to have them, is that you were so close to Baba when it came to matters governance and fighting for women's rights.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Sorry. Now, I want to say, first of all, I want to put it very clearly that when it comes to success of children in life, we cannot ignore the tripartite relationship of parents, school, and the child. So these three work hand in hand to ensure that children are successful. Yeah. And therefore, when it comes to parenting, first of all, the mentorship begins even from home, even before a child goes to school. You know, a child will be mentored by his parents, and especially during this long holiday. Ben, you are quite aware that schools are closing and they open in January. That is about 2 months, 2.5 months. So that's a long period, and this is the time parents can now get close to their children, because at the end of the day, children go back to their parents. They do not belong to the school, they do not belong to teachers, they do not belong to government. So the time when children are now in the long holiday, it is a time for parents to see how to mentor their children. Most of the time, children are learned by observing, you know. They see, they observe, and then they follow. So it is a time for parents to make sure that they're mentoring children in terms of the values they want the children to have, in terms of even the kind of personality they want children to have, in terms of ensuring that a child is all round. Like, for example, there are some household chores that parents need to instill in children, like, especially when they've closed, make sure that children are not idle, because when children are idle, then it creates, an atmosphere of going out of hand and doing things that are really illegitimate and getting into wrong companies. So at a time like this, when children are at home, parents should make sure that when it comes to household chores, even if they have house helps, you know, in the house, they need to assign some duties to their children. Like when it comes to washing dishes, they can be assigned to wash dishes. When it comes to cleaning their rooms, when it comes to spreading the bed, and when it comes to, even if it's gardening, you know, at the end of the day, we want our children to be all around, because when we are preparing our children for the outside world, we are not preparing them for soft life, because if we give them soft landing, then they may end up being in problems when they're out there in the outside world. So I want to say that apart from showing them the direction that they need to go, parents should also create a time to ensure that their children bond with their relatives. You know, there's some children who do not even know their grandparents. Some of them have not even gone to the countryside to see how it looks like. So parents should create time to ensure that they're taking their children at home. They're bonding also with what is happening in the village. And Ben, I can tell you for sure, there's some children who have actually, and you can't blame them, who are not aware of the African culture, because all they know is what is Western, and what they see on the screen, what they see on TV, what they see, and all that. So during this long holiday, it should be a time when parents are minimizing the screen time, so that they're taking time to get to know their children, instill values, encourage them, and make their children feel loved. Because, you know, the home atmosphere sets the pace upon which children can step out to the outside world. Because if they don't find it at home, then when they go out there, they get into peer influence. And when it comes to peer influence, you can't be sure how it will go. Sometimes it will be good, sometimes it will be damaging, and it can even destroy what has been learned at home. So even in their home environment, parents can ensure that they're instilling good morals in their children. When it comes to issues of God, when it comes to knowing God and all that, they need to do that, because if we instill this information to our children, even if they go out of hand, they'll remember. This is what my parents taught me. They taught me I have to pray before I eat. I have to rely upon God. I have to go to school. I have to serve my community. I have to be kind to elders. I have to do this and that. So there's need for the home environment to be very conducive during the 2.5 months for the children to get maximum input from their parents. And then one thing I need to tell parents is that they need to know that children are with parents for a while. Within a very short time, children leave the home, setup, and they go into the outside world. And therefore, if they do not take the opportunity to teach them the right values and to teach them how to, behave in the outside world, it will be very difficult for children to really stand the pressure in the outside world. Remember, there are some times when people say, this is what my mother told me, this is what my father told me, this is what my auntie told me. So we need to ensure that we are leaving a legacy in our children, and even during the long period, I want to urge parents kindly that even in the 2.5 months, sometimes children can forget to read. So they should also create time to ensure that they're going for mentorship programs, they're going maybe for some activities that will activate their cognitive, competence. Like, for example, children can be enrolled to do a language, like maybe French, maybe even vernacular.
Even sign language.
Even sign language, yeah, because it will help the cognitive development of the children, and that is very important. They can even organize for camps for children to go, the camps that children go to, and sometimes there are even some Bible teachings. In some churches I've seen where they create time when children go to camps, they're taught the word of God, and when they're taught the word of God, when they go back to their parents, they're able to share. Because Ben, when it comes to bringing up children, it cannot be the role of the school only. It cannot be the role of parents only. It is a collective arrangement where the school is involved, parents are involved, the entire community is involved. That is why I'm saying that it is a tripartite kind of relationship, Ben.
All right. And I'm looking at, Njeri, I'm looking at what Senator has mentioned in regards to how we as parents have left the digital devices to parent our children, especially when they are in the holidays.
Yes.
Another thing is that there have been not one or two cases where parents have been accused of abdicating their parenting duties, especially when it comes to holidays.
Yeah.
I want to still be hanging out with my boys instead of spending the whole days with my son or my daughter.
Sure.
How can parents tap these 2 months plus to ensure that we change this narrative? Because digital devices or the gadgets have really taking over.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, for the question. One thing we have to understand, we have to acknowledge, and we have to accept is that technology is progressing and it's advancing and it is here with us. But now the question is, how do we turn this technology to work to benefit us? There is a way you can be able to use this same technology to be able to contribute positively and healthily, in a healthy manner, to our children. Be mindful of what they are looking at in this technology, what topics are they searching for. Tell them this is how you use technology, this is the good about this technology, this is the bad, this is the ugly, And we also have to teach our kids that not everything you see in these devices works positively for you. And they also have to know the people behind the screens, they are acting. It's a job they are doing, Most of them, deep down, if you asked them, they don't stand for most of the things that they are advocating for our children. So we need, as parents, we need to monitor what our children are feeding on in matters to do with technology. I think even as parents, it would be good to, sit down with your child. If are they active on TikTok, ask them, what do you like about this TikTok platform? What are you gaining from this TikTok platform? What are some of the videos you're watching in this TikTok platform? So that you can be able to see what they're feeding their minds with. But if you change the narrative and show them that this technology can work positively to better their lives, then they can be able to accept it, because technology is here with us. They are easily accessing information online,
and even things that they shouldn't be.
Oh yes, and nowadays if you give a high school student your phone, they know their phone more than you even know the phone itself.
Yes.
And also at the same time, for parents, it's a time to balance, because of course as parents, you want to have time with your peers, you want to have a social life with your fellow colleagues, with your friends, but also you need to strike that balance. Have a time for the kids and have a time for your social life. Tap when the kids are active, when you can talk to the kids. And when you interact with them, you can be able to see what they are feeding on and what information is being passed through them.
Senator, this question is a little bit political, because we are talking about children being the future. You're talking about power vacuum when somebody either retires, or in the case of Baba, when he left us. But you had the rare opportunity of being mentored by Baba, and now you're a university lecturer, and you have lots and lots of Gen Zs. Look at Babu Owino. He was a student leader. He started his politics in the university. The likes of James Orengo, Gitobu Imanyara, they all started out from the university, and many leaders that we have in the country. How do we instill the leadership so that we may be done completely with the notion that you are the leaders of tomorrow?
Thank you very much. And probably I can give my example as a lecturer. And that is something I saw from Baba, that Baba was very empathetic. And one thing I can say about Baba is that when he got to realize that you are his genuine follower, he would always give you time, and he would listen to you. He had a listening ear. Like he would actually inspire you, you know. And I remember there's a time when I was opening my house, and I invited him to, you know, to open, and he actually accepted, you know. And he came all the way to Lugari and opened my house. And I remember there's a time I also gave him an invite, you know, in our church. And when I gave him an invite to our church, he told me that he was coming, and he came. And people could not believe it. But one thing I knew about Baba is that when he realized that you are committed to him, and you are a solid follower, he would always be available for you. And I remember even before he died, last month, I remember Baba had given an assignment to Hon.
I think we've mentioned him, and now we hear there's a presser that is at Kangoch Kajaramogi. Let's first of all listen in, then you can continue. Okay. Let's first of all cross over to the late Baba's homestead, where, as I had mentioned earlier, there were leaders who had convened there, the likes of James Orengo. I also saw the Governor Kenneth Lusaka, but let's listen in.
Greatness is still seen. Baba's biggest achievement was restructuring the architecture of governance in Kenya, ensuring that service delivery and resources were devolved to all machinanis in Kenya, Migori County being one of them. Baba's achievement is the practical enjoyment of all our rights, the freedom of speech, the freedom of association, and the freedom that is associated with politics. I do not want to stand here and enumerate all his achievements, but I want to say that the nation is poorer without the physical presence of Baba. The nation is poorer without Baba's courage. The nation is lonely. And what we are left with is to do exactly what Baba used to do, to exercise our rights, to speak, to demonstrate within the limitations of the law. Baba never wanted lawlessness. Baba never wanted people to operate outside the law. He was ready to sacrifice as much as humanly possible to ensure that you exercise your rights within the law. He believed in change based on the ballot. He believed in a change based on the rule of law. So as Migori County, we are saying sorry to Kenyans and to Baba's family here, but we want to say we will stay focused in what Baba stated. Baba said, and he told me many years ago, forget about the recent ones, he told me in 1999 when we started cooperating with the county. I was a young member of parliament representing Rongo, which is now Awendo and Rongo, that if you want to effect change within government. If you want to do improvement within government.
That has been Governor Ochilo Ayako, as I had mentioned earlier, together with a host of other leaders, just having reflections on Baba, and exactly the last comment that he has made is exactly what we've been talking about when he was a young member of parliament after being mentored by Baba. And he's talking all about just how Baba has impacted his life. Now he is the governor, and of course that is what we had been looking at. And because of the interest of time, let's first of all cross over to our discussion right here. Senator, you're talking about how do we mentor these children. We have the Gen Zs who are not going out to get their votes, and they need to be at the ballot in the next 30 days or so for the by-elections. We have also another elections in 2027, but the young generation are not coming out strongly to show themselves out and say that, yes, indeed, we've been told always that we are the leaders of tomorrow, but we are the leaders of today. How do we mentor these children to ensure that we get leaders from these children?
Thank you. Now, before we go to that, I was just explaining how Baba actually mentored me in terms of empathy, that he was very empathetic. And even last month, I remember he had sent Honwanga and Honosozi to Narok for an assignment. But I had invited the two of them also to Vihiga County to come and worship with us. But when they spoke to Baba, Baba allowed them to come to Vihiga. So they came to Vihiga and we worshiped together. So I want to say that Baba had a way of transforming people, inspiring people to even take out these values and also be leaders. So I want to say that this has helped me also as a lecturer. I want to give my example. Even when I was coming here, Ben, there's a master's student that I'm supervising, and she wanted some documents to be signed. And she told me the deadline was today. And I told her, look here, I have an interview at KBC, but I'm ready to sign if we meet at KBC. So I've just done that because I empathize with her, that the deadline was today. So I want to say that even in my daily life, I empathize with my students, the master's students and the PhD students that I supervise. I make sure I instill that value. When it comes to also undergraduates, when I'm teaching them, I'm usually very keen to listen to them. And even when I'm giving my cards and assignments, I put myself in the shoe of the student and see how actually can I mentor them. Because when it comes to our Gen Zs, by the way, they look at how we behave, and eventually they want to become what they see in us. Even in the universities, it's not about lecturing only. Even the way you dress, they will say, I want to dress like her. Even sometimes the car you drive, even the way you speak, even the way you deal with them. So sometimes when they tell me, Daktari, I'm very happy you've taken me through and all that, then I'm very grateful. And I tell them, if you're grateful, can you treat somebody else the way you feel I've treated you? So that you pass it on. So most of the time when the students are happy with my work, I say, if you're happy with my lectures, you are happy with how I've taken you through, then can you do that to somebody else so that you are a shoulder upon which somebody else can climb on.
Yeah, and as we wrap up, I would like you to also, Njeri, touch on our ladies, our girls. Yesterday we carried a news item where parents were being asked to really being keen, especially to take care of the young ladies, so that we avoid these cases we are hearing of teenage pregnancies. What would be your clarion call to parents as they have one of the biggest holidays ever? So, yeah. For a long time, I think we have really focused on the girl child. But if there's something, I have had the privilege of working as a crisis pregnancy counselor, where I would be able to work with the girls throughout their pregnancy. And before they become pregnant, I've had the opportunity to be able to talk to girls in different platforms on sexual purity. And most of the things I normally tell the girls is that when you get pregnant with a man who has not committed to marriage, you are the one who is more on the losing side, because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, this guy can walk away very easily and society will not hold him ransom. But you, on the other side, as a girl, you will be pregnant, you will be the single mother, you will be the one who will struggle with this child, you know. And so it's very important to teach our girls that they need to learn to respect their bodies, you know, to be able to not go for shortcuts, but to look at the long term, to look at the bigger picture. But even on the other side, I would like to talk to parents who have boys
at home. And I think as a society, we have reached a point where we have to teach our boys, we have to teach our men about taking responsibilities of their actions. Because when two people come together, there are two who are involved. And so the consequences should be carried by the two parties that are involved. So it's high time society, even parents, teach boys how to take responsibility of their actions, to own up to what they have done.
Ben,
Yeah.
could I kindly add something
Yes.
on what she has said? She has very good statements, and I want to also add, as a mother to daughters, that when it comes to the girl child, we really need to be close to them and teach them the core values that we want them to learn. But sometimes when it happens, and many times it happens, that they get pregnant. Sometimes if they get pregnant, and while they're in school, we should empathize with them and see how to give them a chance to go on with school.
Yeah, we've seen some parents even chase them away.
Yeah, just encourage them. I'm sorry it has happened. You need to be very careful. You take them through counseling. But once they've given birth, as parents, I'm urging parents to take responsibility of the children and give them a second chance to go to school, because I have seen a girl child, I've seen girls who are given birth before they finish school. When they had the support of their parents, they've gone very far. Some of them have even finished, they're doing very well in the society, and they're even giving back to the society. So I think it is necessary for us to give our girl child the opportunity to grow to their full potential. Okay. Because when they grow to their full potential, then it becomes an advantage for us as a society. And even if we are talking about the girl child, we need to also talk to our boys, because one thing I like about the girl child is that when the girl child is pregnant, you can cancel her and you help take care of this baby and will go on with school. But our boys also, we need to talk to them, because some of them go scattering their seeds all over. Maybe they're not aware, and maybe they've given, they've had very many children out there. Their parents are not aware. So they just feel, my son is okay, my son is okay, only to realize later on that their children, their boy child had very many children out there. So we need to look for a way in which we can talk to both the boy child and girl child. But we ensure that the girl child grows to have full potential, so that economically, you know the role of women in the society.
All right. I'll give you 10 seconds for your closing statements. Kindly, 10 seconds.
Okay, so thank you so much. I will just urge the parents and the guardians this holiday season, especially with a lot that is happening, to be able to take care of these kids. We don't want to have any casualties, especially with the rising number of suicide cases.
All right. Mashima, 10 seconds.
Thank you very much, Ben. Mine is just two very quick. One, we need to emulate the late Baba for the role he played. He looked at the bigger picture of Kenya, and I'm urging leaders to follow the example and look at the bigger picture of Kenya when they're, leading Kenyans. And then my other take is that parents, we should be very close to our children, because we have a big role to play in the lives of our children. Children belong to us. And it must be a concerted effort of the school, the parents, and children in order for them to actualize. And finally, Ben, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and really say something about parenting, and also to say pole to the family of Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, and to all of Kenyans for losing Baba, and also to finally say that let us appreciate Baba's work, and those who are doing TikToks that are negative about Baba on social media, they need to stop. Even leaders who are speaking evil concerning Baba, can they stop? Let Baba rest in peace, and if you feel Baba did not work, let us see you working.
All right, all right. And in 5 seconds, do you think the NADCO report will be implemented?
Ben,
now that Baba is not around?
We are still in the morning period. Let's wait and see. I'll come here to talk about the NADCO report when the time comes.
All right, all right. That has been Honorable Senator-nominated Dr. Gertrude Musuruve, who is also a lecturer at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. And also just next to her, we have Grace Njeri Karuno, who is a children and also a youth mentor. We were looking at holiday parenting and mentorship, and especially when every when it's said and done, Baba was a very good mentor. And as we would like to have more and more young people coming out, not only in schools as well as also in leadership positions. And we have seen that, when it comes to voter registration and matter civic education, the youth are not coming out in their large numbers. There's something that we would also want to also change in our country. Many thanks indeed for joining us. Earlier on, we had the State of the Nation, and now we are wrapping it with the holiday parenting and mentorship. Thank you so much. My name is Ben Troy Njue. We had Lucy Maura earlier on. Now we have Karon Jaroge on the sign language interpretation. I'm giving the baton to the Swahili team.
It's time to tour an African city. Let's go to the home of champions, Eldoret in Kenya, boasting legends like Eliud Kipchoge, Paul Tergat, Kipchoge Keino. We have the pleasure of touring